What's going on YouTube? Cloverbells here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be spotlighting Salamence for Regulation E. So this has been pretty much a long time coming, since the format started. You guys know how we feel about Salamence on the channel. We enjoy it a lot. We tried to make it work in Regulation E, and I thought we did. I thought that team was still pretty good, and now it's actually even better in Regulation E. Why? Because of the dragon typing. So, if we just look at Salamence as a whole, just from stats and ability, of course you're getting Intimidate. You're a flying type, which is great. Something into Landorus is really, really nice. And this is often literally compared with Landorus. You have two flying Intimidate Pokemon, both very, very strong physical attackers, but there are some differences, of course. 145 attack versus 135, so 10 more base attack for Landorus. But one of the main differences is that you need to commit your flying Terra to be able to use a super effective flying type attack, right? So if you want to be able to one-shot some of these ogre pawns that don't Terra, right, you have to commit your Terra for your Landorus. But Salamence doesn't need that. Salamence has its own stab move, right? It has dual wing beat, not like the super greatest grass move by any means, physical-wise, right? But it's still passable, right? And then from here, with Landorus, if you just look at the rest of it, says 90 defense, 80 special defense. So like Salamence, same special defense, 10 less defense. Okay, but the other main difference is the HP value and the speed. So a little bit more HP for Salamence. Landorus 91 speed versus Salamence 100. So it falls under the category of a base speed 100 mon. So think of stuff like Chi-Yu, right? Another Zapdos, Charizard, Regigigas. These are all Pokemon within the base 100 stat. So now, what about some differences? So, 4 times weaknesses to Ice, right? That's their similarity. But Salamence has this Dragon typing, which is much more preferred in Regulation E than D or any other previous formats. Why? Because you can resist Fire types, you can resist Grass types, you can resist Water types. So you can pretty much resist any of the Ogre Pawns. And then you can even resist Urshifu, right? You resist both of its stab moves. The Rapid Strike one. You resist Fighting because of your Flying typing, and you resist Water because of your Dragon typing. Which is why we ran it in the first place towards the end of Regulation D as like a bit of a niche option, okay? And then, unlike Landorus, Salamence has access to some setup. It has access to Tailwind, and it even has access to Dragon Dance, right? Similar to Roaring Moon in that it also gets access to Tailwind and Dragon Dance. So it has that going for it. So there are some niches now where you can like play Salamence as opposed to Landorus, right? Excuse me. So how do you build around Salamence? Okay, so you can pretty much imagine, similar templates, to a typical Regulation E squad, right? Can you get your Fire, Water, Grass course coming in? Can you get your Dragon Fairy steals? And the answer is yes. Okay, but before we even build a squad, I want to see some of the other Salamence teams that have had success up until now, and I will also build 2 Salamence teams, right? Just because I can. All right, and then we'll do a little bit of a test battle. But I think there's a couple of cores that you can use with Salamence that are still very, very good and consistent. But let's take a look at what other people have used. Okay, so first let's go into Peoria here, and this is Andy Anderson's team. So he had a very, very nice result there. So shout outs to Andy, and he pretty much revolved around this Dragon Fairy Steel Core, right? Salamence, Fluttermane, and Kingambit. And that's pretty much how you would start a kind of team like this, right? You want your strong physical type paired with some Defiant or competitive mon, right? And Kingambit is that play. And Life Orb Kingambit is also pretty cool here with Iron Hand and Assurance, so that's also really nice. And then Fluttermane with a standard set here. The rest of the team, you do have the Rock Ogre Pawn, so that's also pretty cool. That's pretty good into like the Fire type. Then you have Breloom here. Fast Spores along with Tailwind is actually really, really nice. And then of course, Slowbro just gives you that Trick Room mode along with Yawn and Psyshock, which I would imagine does really, really well into stuff like Iron Hands, right? And then the repositioning of Yawn is actually really good. So a lot of these options here, besides Salamence, Fluttermane, and Kingambit, they're actually pretty cool. So shout outs to Andy for like a really, really creative team. Now, you're going to see a lot of this variant, right, with like Salamence and Kingambit. So I think that's like a very, very good place to start, right? Then if we go into this team over here, the Moist Pleb, right, and the Nemi Regulation Tour 7-1 result, and this is another kind of Salamence team revolving around like Salamence Rain, but still you have Salamence and Kingambit here, right? This is not a Swords Dance Kingambit, but pretty standard set here with Dreadplate, okay? But now you have Fake Out Pressure with Iron Hands. You know you're getting Pelipper with Rain. So that's pretty good. And then this is the Hurricane Draco Meteor variant. So this makes sense as well. Again, Terra Steel is the preferred option at the moment, right? Because you get to resist the ice moves and the fairy moves altogether, right? But still you get Intimidate support, you get Fake Out Pressure, and there is some redirection support here from the Sinistra. So another Trick Room Pokemon here on a Tailwind kind of team. And you know, here you can see the Pelipper. There is no Tailwind because the Tailwind's on the Salamence. Wide Guard, really good, you know, against typical spread moves here. And then Ogerpon, Wellspring just gets benefited from the rain. So really, really cool team from Moist Pleb. A lot of good synergy from some of these mons. But, you know, if you wanted to run Hurricane and Draco Meteor, a special variant of Salamence, then you can put it on a rain team. And it does relatively well here. So this is a cool team. I wish I had this rental. So Moist Pleb, if you're watching, I would like to run this team. Okay. Then if we go into the Himi Turner Tour, this is another really, really strong team. Quivern got a top 5 result here. And, you know, this is a big tour, right? This is over 100 people. So lots of good data here. By the way, here's our squad. Here's our Moltres squad, 5-3. All right, so that's pretty cool. But Quivern here, again, so there's no Kingambit here, but you still have a Steel type here. And here's a Fluttermane yet again. So still following the Dragon Fairy Steel Core archetype here. And this is a Life Orb Salamence with Protect. So it's Heat Wave, Air Slash, and Draco Meteor. So this is a special variant. So this way you don't get intimidated, right? Because if you ran physical, I feel like you have to run Clear Amulet, which is what Andy over here did. So that makes sense. So then from here, what do you got? So there's Choice Specs Fluttermane. And here's the Scizor with Swords Dance. So here's your physical setup mon, right? There's Citrus Berry here. So interesting, no Clear Amulet. And then over here, you have the redirection support. So here's your Intimidator, here's your Fake Out Mon, and here's your Redirector with Follow Me Ogerpon. And then some speed control coming into play with Iron Bundle, Icy Wind, and no Tailwind from either Salamence or Scizor. That's okay. And then Fluttermane is just Choice Specs altogether, right? With Power Gem, which is actually pretty good now. That's really good into the fire types. So something like Fire Ogerpon doesn't want to be taking Power Gems. So that's really good too. So this is another way to utilize this. So shout outs to Quivern for another good team, good results here. Then if we go into the Pomelo Tour, right? The late night tours, a 5-1 result from Mr. Mike here, Volt Mike. This is Covert Cloak Salamence with Tailwind, Dual Wing Beat, Iron Head with Terra Steel. That's pretty good. And here's this idea with Kingambit yet again. And then here's Furgraph with Nasty Plot and Trick Room. There's got to be a redirector here. And there it is. There's the Ogerpon. So Ogerpon, Rillaboom, okay? You're getting the Grassy Glide boys, and then, you know, Kingambit, Salamence. Kingambit makes sense here, you know, just so that your strong physical mons don't get Intimidate spammed, and you can punish them for it by just clicking, you know, +2, you know, Sucker Punches. This is Assault Vest Kingambit, so it's also pretty good. And then this Urshifu is actually Choice Scarf with Taunt. So that's interesting, all right? But hey, it works. But another Fire, Water, Grass core. And then here's your quote-unquote fairy type here with Furgraph. So again, lots of, you know, good Salamence teams, you know, finding success with similar cores, right? You know, maybe some differences in some of the mons, but like the ideas are more or less the same. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you 2 squads with Salamence that we feel can work based on, you know, the meta at the given moment and based on, you know, what we've seen from others. So let's take a look here. All right, so I feel like you always want to start here, you know, when you're trying to use Salamence. So you can do Fluttermane and Kingambit like we saw in some of the other teams. So I feel like this trio is going to be really good, all right, because you get a Kingambit, you know, you're going to have some physical attackers here. So Kingambit support with Defiance is going to be good, and it's going to help you into some of those Trick Room games. So that's also really, really nice. And then from here, how do you support your Fluttermane here to do a little bit more damage? But altogether, you know, succeed. So you can even just put like Chiyu over here. And now you get this Fluttermane Chiyu combination. And then honestly, just round it out with Iron Hands and Ogerpon, right? And let's use the Wellspring one. So Dragon Fairy Steel, Fire, Water, Grass core with the Ogerpon and Chiyu. So makes a lot of sense here. And again, you're going to have an Intimidator, you're going to have a Fake Outer, and you're going to have a Redirector in the Ogerpon because this is going to have Follow Me. So you can definitely use something like this to start, right? So as far as like a move set, I would just do this. Dual Wing Beat, Iron Head, Tailwind, and Protect. All right, and then have something like a clear amulet, and then you can go Terra Steel. Okay, this also definitely works. Then for King Gambit, this could be your setup mon, right? Along with Ogre Pawn here. So you can just do like Black Glasses. Then you can do something like Kowtow Cleave, Sucker Punch, Swords Dance, and Protect. All right, that's pretty good. Keep the Terra Dark there for a little bit more damage. The Flutter Mane and Chiyu. So like you have to make a choice. Who's getting the choice specs? Okay, one or the other, and then the other one will get like some other damage boosting item or whatever. I decided to put the choice specs here on the Chiyu, which means we can put the booster energy on the Flutter Mane, and then what we can do is just go like Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam, Icy Wind, and then Protect. Okay, so we can forego the Shadow Ball here. It's not a huge deal. It's totally fine, right? If you want to really hit ghost types, you have like a Chiyu anyway. And then here you can just blast something with Overheat. You got Heat Wave for a little bit more consistent damage. Dark Pulse for the dark type attack and the flinch potential, and then Snarl for a little bit more damage reduction. Pretty good into like those Indie Armor Rouge games, right? You know, because even if they do get Trick Room Up, you just snarl them and now they're just not doing any damage altogether, right? And then King Gambit is also really good there, right? Because you can just Swords Dance in their face. They can't click Expanding Force, and then from there you can just start clicking Kowtow Cleaves and, you know, change your Terra so you don't get a super effective fire damage, right? Then the Ogre Pawn. So standard set here, Ivory, Cudgel, and then you can go something like Horn Leech for good recovery, and then Spiky Shield. Okay, that's pretty good. And then Iron Hands, Terra Fire, very, very standard one with Assault Vest. So we can actually put the Assault Vest here because we went Black Glasses here. And standard one, Fake Out, Wild Charge, Drain Punch, and Heavy Slam to snipe other Fluttermans. So this is it, right? You can definitely start with a core like this, and it'll work. Right, you can get some easy wins. Now Salamence, again, you have good speed control with Tailwind and Icy Wind here. King Gambit, Iron Hands, they're going to be coming into some of your Trick Room games. And then Flutter Mane Chiyu offer a special attacking mode. So good damage altogether. Then like I said, Intimidate, Fake Out, Redirection, and Speed Control are on your team. You have a little bit of good balance. You have setup here with Swords Dance, damage reduction with, again, Snarl and Intimidate, like we said. So altogether, you know, we have some good tools that we want on a typical good VGC team. All right, in terms of EV spreads, so, you know, you can just go, I'll show you one in the other team as well, but we can definitely go Jolly here on the Salamence. And the way I see it, we can actually just go right here, 155, kind of like what we did with Roaring Moon, because under Tailwind, you're going to outspeed a +1 boosted Iron Bundle. They go to 309, so we want to go to 310 under Tailwind. So there's the math there. Then what do we do with these other 344 EVs? We can just go Max Jolly, which hits 187, which is actually the second benchmark in Adamant 116, which is what we're going to put on the other squad with Salamence. So all in all, we have to do a little bit more investment, but we still hit that 187 mark, so that's still fine. And then from here, just put 1 point in the bulk stats, and then just dump the rest into HP. You know, very, very basic Salamence set with Tailwind. King Gambit here, same idea. Adamant Nature, max attack. You can go 196 investment for the EV bump. And like I always say, you know, if you're trying to play competitive Pokemon, you don't know what EV bumps are, make sure you comment in the video description below asking what are EV bumps, because again, if you're trying to do team building and you're not sure how to do like EV spreads like how I'm doing, you know, one way to do that is to be able to understand what EV bumps are. All right, so make sure you comment and ask me. And then at the same time, you can even drop this to the second benchmark here, and just go like Adamant 116 with Swords Dance, and then you have a little bit more bulk, but I think 196 is pretty good, you know, for our purposes. And then just put a little bit of points here, and I don't want to speed tie my Iron Hands here specifically. Actually, I won't, because I'm going to show you a little bit of a gimmick there that we're going to do with Iron Hands. So we'll just do something like this for now. I think this works. And then the the Flutter Mane here. So this one's going to be interesting, right? So I'm still going to go modest, but I want to go max speed modest. Oh, I want to hit that 187 mark. This will outspeed some of the slower, bulkier, modest Flutter Manes, right? And let's go to 116. Okay, so we're going to get a special attack boost either way, you know, even though we are tied. And then just put a little bit of investment here. 60, 76 is all we really need. That's, you know, we have some bulk. This won't live, you know, a lot of the, the Chenpao Adamant attacks, right? But it's still like a decently bulky Flutter Mane. If you want, you can actually drop this to about 36, but then you're getting the Timid boost which might be pretty good in depending on how you want to play it. So you can definitely also do that and then just invest more into your HP like this. So that's also up to you. But I feel like with Icy Wind and Tailwind, we're actually okay in terms of speed. I kind of want a little bit more damage. So we'll just keep things like this and have a damage boosting Flutter Mane. The Chiyu here, so I still go max speed Chiyu, you know, without a doubt. And then, you know, just a little bit of HP, not a whole lot. And then, you know, just a good amount of special attack where we're still optimizing, you know, for this choice specs idea here. You know, 1.2 boost. I'm sorry, 1.5, not 1.2. Okay. Then the Ogre Pawn. So here's the other thing. Kind of like Salamence here. You know, I kind of want to go for that same speed tier, right? 154 versus 155. If you, again, let's do like some quick math here. So through here, this won't outspeed the bundle. So you might have to make this just a tiny bit faster. So maybe something like this, 204, right? So, you know, you avoid the speed tie. Now your Ogre Pawn's going to be a little bit faster, which is still in a way okay, right? I get to outspeed a bundle. And then, you know, second EV bump here in the attacking stat. I want to even number here in the special defense because I am getting a special defense boost. And then after that, you just dump the rest into HP like this. You know, a very standard Ogre Pawn set. Then the Iron Hands. So here's what we're going to do with Iron Hands. We're going to go still 156 investment, right? But we're not going to put any HP here, right? Why? Because we're going to go right here, 108 investment, right? 84, because under Tailwind, you go to 168, which outspeeds Chiyu by 1 point. So you can pick up a KO against a Chiyu with Drain Punch, which is actually kind of funny and quite satisfying. And then you still have a good amount of special defense here into your Iron Hands. So all in all, you know, we do sacrifice a little bit of HP, but, you know, it's still worth it in terms of the speed. And then even without the speed, you'll definitely like win some of these mirrors. Now, that being said, there are some even faster Iron Hands, right? Some of them even go to like, you know, like 132s or 164s. Like, I understand that. That's okay. But I feel like this is still enough, right? So this is pretty much it. This is one variant of our Salamence team. Okay, and we've tested it out and it does work relatively well. So, you know, two strong special attackers, and then, you know, a bunch of physical mons that get supported by King Gambit, which is a setup mon here. So it makes sense. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to show you another type of core with Salamence that is also still very, very good. All right, so let's show you the second variation. By the way, I did notice at the end that I put Iron Defense instead of Iron Head, so I did make that change. So in the video description, it should be correct anyway when I put the Pokepaste link. So here's another core that works. And again, it's another proven 5. So let's put Salamence, you know, the same way with Rory Moon that or back Scalper, we can put them behind screens and have also good weather control. So let's add a Alolan Ninetales here. Okay, this will make sense. And then what we're gonna do is add the Milotic instead of the King Gambit. And similar idea, again, you're going to be able to deter a lot of these Intimidators with this Milotic set. And here's what we're gonna do with Milotic. We're gonna use the Devil set, as I like to call it. We're gonna be going with the Hydro Pump, the Coil Hypnosis stuff, and this is gonna be really, really good in a lot of different games, you know, depending on how you want to run or surround this team. But I've been using it and I've been having a ton of fun with it. And, you know, Milotic is just like a really, really good mod. And this is the other set that works besides Scald, Icy Wind, and Haze, right? If you had to run a different set, this is the one that works. So I'm giving you that option here, right? And then Milotic can just become like physically bulky, right? Put things to sleep and start clicking accurate Hydro Pumps, right? So you would imagine this is a modest Milotic, right? And it is. Okay, now how do we support the rest of this team? So I still want a Steel type here, and we're going to get that in Heatran here. But what's going to be really cool with this Heatran is we're going to actually be using this Willow set that's been picking up, but still have like standard Heat Wave and Earth Power. That's Heat Crash, Heat Wave. Okay, that's going to be good. And you have the option to do something like Life Orb here, or you can even just do something like Citrus Berry, which is also totally fine. Either way, you know, Willow support for something like this, where you can support the Milotic and or the Salamence, and even the Ninetales, you know, from big physical damage is also pretty good. Because sometimes you can't really bring the Salamence, but you still want to physically neuter some mons, and Will-O-Wisp can do that job for you. Then, you know, let's get a Grass type in here. Let's get Rillaboom here. Of course, Fake Out Pressure makes a lot of sense. And then, of course, Grassy Terrain Recovery, really, really good for Milotic as well. And also really good at changing the needy terrains. And then Ogre Pawn here in the last slot here. So I like something like this. Where is it? The Ogre Pawn Heartflame, right? Now, that does mean I do have 2 fire types, but it's still okay, right? I still have like the Grassy Glide boys, right? Heatran's really good here as my steel type. And overall, it's again, like with Follow Me redirection support, you know, you can set up these coil boosts relatively easily, right? And then also with this Salamence set, we're going Dragon Dance, by the way. So, you know, this is going to be a scary Salamence set. You know, you don't want this setting up Dragon Dance. I'll tell you that much. Especially where we're going to be going Adamant Nature. But this is another idea that can work as well. So if you want to use this, definitely give it a go. Otherwise, you know, if you want to use something else besides Heatran, if you think like, oh wait, I don't want to do like dual fire type here, you can definitely like, you know, swap this out. Maybe even something like Goldango can work here, right? So if you want to do that, where's the Goldango? Yeah, you can definitely do Goldango in this slot. I think it still works, right? But you know, I'm just on board with Heatran, so you know, go figure. But here we go, Heatran, and then from here. All right, so Clear Amulet comes yet again, and still Terra Steel, of course, with the Iron Head and Dual Wing Beat. I did it again. There we go. And then Protect, okay. And then the Ninetales, let's actually just do Snow Warning, right? And then the Light Clay set, of course, Extended Snow, Moonblast, Aurora Veil. Here's the Icy Wind, and then there's Protect. That's Aurora Beam, Aurora Veil. There we go. We got it. Terra Water is pretty good. I like Terra Water. Then the Milotic here, Terra Dragon, of course, to be able to resist a lot of the Ogre Pawn stuff. Even the Wild Charge from the Iron Hands is also a threat. AV Rillaboom. Okay. Fake Out, Grassy Glide, High Horsepower, and then you know, U-turn. So yeah, I always feel like these teams definitely need like a ground type move. So you know, High Horsepower and Earth Power are definitely good coverage there. And then from here we can do Ivy Cudgel, we can do Grassy Glide, Follow Me, and then Spiky Shield. And that is Grass Knot. Grassy Glide. Where are you? There you go. And then the Heatran, Terra Fairy is pretty good. You know, just for the fighting weakness resist. We had the Citrus Berry here. Heat Wave, Earth Power. All right, and then Will-O-Wisp, and then Protect. I think this is a pretty good set at the moment. Flash Fire, also really, really good. But like I said, if you don't like the Heatran, you can definitely do Goldango there. You can get Shadow Ball stuff. You can do Nasty Plot with Ogre Pawn. Good setups. But all in all, I still like Ninetales, Salamence, Heatran. You know, this kind of combination. Just like Ninetales, Landorus, Heatran, you know, it's the same kind of cord that I want to bring, but it also works, right? So as far as an EV set, so I'm gonna go Adamant yet again, but this time, I'm sorry, I'm going Adamant, not Jolly. I'm gonna go 188, right? This will outspeed a Choice Scarf Landorus with a Dragon Dance boost, because Choice Scarf Adamant Landuses, they cap at 143, so let's outspeed and go to 144. And then from here, let's go to that 187 mark, right, with 116 investment, and then from here, just 1 point there, and then just dump the rest into HP like this. So you're slower, you're bulkier, but you hit about the same. Okay, so there's that, but you have Dragon Dance here. All right, Ninetales, same idea, you know, kind of like what we've always been using with Ninetales. You can definitely go like max speed here. I think that's also fine, or you can go a little bit less, save yourself some EVs, just go enough to outspeed the Chiyu stuff, still go max HP here. All right, right here is okay for special defense, and then just a little bit of attack, and then just dump the rest in defense. But I also just want to keep even numbers here for like that Auroraville stuff. So you can even just go something like this, a little bit more special attack, you know, or if you don't really care for that, you can just add a little bit more speed and just go 170. Either way, it's still like totally fine. Milotic here, so this time I still go to about 172 HP. This will optimize Rillaboom Grassy terrain and the leftovers recovery. You get a perfect 12. I think 44 investment in speed is good. So this way, under, you know, Icy Wind conditions, or even like 2 Icy Winds, you can outspeed stuff like Dragon Ball. But you know, just a little bit of speed in Milotic is totally fine. We're supposed to be playing this relatively bulky anyway. And then not just the first bump here, but let's go second bump. 156. All right, 1 point in speed def, right? We don't really need that, and then just dump the rest into defense like this. So nice even numbers yet again, which is good for, you know, Aurora stuff. But, you know, again, we wanted to be a little bit more aggressive with the Milotic here because we're going with like these hard-hitting Hydro Pumps, especially after like competitive boosts. These are going to hurt, and then we're going to be physically bulky with Coil, and then you already have like good speed def. So this Milotic is going to get relatively hard to remove, and then, you know, just putting things to sleep is going to be a boon for you in that sense. Rillaboom here. So I've been showing you like this set for most, you know, 252 HP and then 116 attack investment. You can definitely do that. I'm gonna give you a different one this time. Let's go back to the old school set, you know, with 132 investment, just like Milotic, but go a little bit stronger here, you know, with the attack, and then a little bit of defense. Some speed def 76, you know, for that nice even number for Assault Vest, and then we hit the triple digits here, and then just dump a little bit into speed, right? 112 is already pretty good. So after an Icy Wind, you get to outspeed Chiyu, so that's good. Ogre Pond, honestly, you can go a bulky Adamant set, but I still just went like straight 252 this time around. You know, there's nothing wrong with this because again, you have screens, you have Intimidate support, and you're getting a +1 attack boost anyway, you know, with the terrestrialization. So go figure there. The Heatran, let's go modest, and let's go 156, right? Let's do that. Let's go just like the others. Let's go 192 with the berry and the grassy terrain recovery. With 148 left, let's go right here. 108. This is 109. Okay, that's good. So we don't speed tie. And then with 64 EVs, you know, you can just do something like this, right? I think this is also okay. Actually, no, we can even it out here. 130, 130, and then one more point. All right, 92 speed. That's pretty good. All right, yeah, this is pretty much it. So again, this is another general core where I think can also work with Salamence, but you know, similar concepts that we've done with Roaring Moon and Excalibur, right? Just hiding behind screens, getting good speed control. But now the Milotic is a different set. It's a more aggressive set, just because I think it's pretty cool. All right, and overall, I think Rillaboom and Ogre Pond are going to be great, you know, with just redirecting and clicking Fake Out and clicking Grassy Glides, really helping the Milotic setup here. So yeah, so what I want to do now is let's do a little bit. Let's actually go back into Showdown. Let's do a best of 3 with this team, and let's see how this one works. All right, so let's look at this one. So this is a Wheezing team, and I feel like this is a pretty good team. The only thing that's missing is a Roaring Moon. But he's going with the booster. He's going with Flutter Mane stuff here, but I really feel like, oh my goodness, I just realized something. This is double Intimidate. I don't know if you need that. You know, I'm not so sure about double Intimidate teams, but it works. I definitely could see, keep the Arcanine, just go like Roaring Moon here, or one or the other. I don't think you need both here, but he goes with both. So, you know, honestly, Milotic looks really good here, all right? There is the threat of Bundle and his own Iron Hand, so I understand that, but that being said, we have Ogre Ponds and Rillabooms here, so we're kind of just chilling. I do like Salamence here to some extent, right? Just being able to intimidate a lot of his options, and then we have the Steel Pressure for the Flutter Mane here. So I do like that. So let's see what we can do. So I'm gonna go with Rillaboom and Salamence here to lead, and he goes with Iron Bundle and Wheezing. Okay, so that's pretty good. All right, so he does turn off, you know, our abilities here, but it doesn't really matter, the Intimidate here, because the Bundle is a special attacker. I don't get my Grassy Terrain, so no fast Grassy Glide here, so that's unfortunate. Now, I don't want the Wheezing to burn me, right? So that's the main thing. And if I just Terra Steel right now, the Iron Bundle doesn't really do that much damage to me. So I am going to do that. So, and then what I'm going to do is also set up the Dragon Dance. So he goes Terra Ice here. So he's definitely going for the kill here. So this is why I wanted to fake out the Wheezing first. So Freeze Dry doesn't do a whole lot of damage, and now we get off a Dragon Dance. So now the Salamence can do quite a bit here, and we can even outspeed the Bundle now, start doing a ton of damage, right? Because he doesn't have the booster here. So he actually, so now what we can do, so he switches out into Iron Hand. So that's a good play from him. So, but I really just wanted to get rid of the Wheezing. All right, so there's Citrus Berry there activating, and here's the high horsepower, right? So we get to remove the Wheezing altogether. The bundle wasn't threatening because whether he clicks Hydro Pump or Freeze Dry, none of these things are dying. I can just kill them next turn. I'd rather get rid of the Wheezing now, so this way I can activate my Intimidate. And now look what happens. I intimidate his Iron Hands because I get to remove it, and I get to get my Grassy Terrain. So now here's his Landorus. Now he does intimidate my Rillaboom, but this is where Clear Amulet is really helpful because now I don't get that drop. And note that I will outspeed this Landorus because I have the, you know, I meant to calc this, you know, for 144 speed, right? So I do outspeed this Landorus right now, even if he has a Choice Guard. So then from here, all I have to do is let play resume. So now I do go into the Milotic here. So he goes for Fake Out. And this is my mistake with the Salamence. I probably should have just protected it. All right. I thought he would actually get rid of the Rillaboom, you know, Terra Blast, Terra Fly. But he did not. He went for the Salamence. I guess that was the bigger threat. So that was a misplay on my part, letting the Salamence go down like this. All right. But it's still okay. Right. So now he goes into the bundle. He wants to put pressure on the Milotic. And now what I can do is start setting up these coils. Not going to be super effective really you know, into the Iron Bundle. It's not really helping me there, but it is helping me into the Iron Hands, right? And I can still, you know, put pressure on the bundle here, all right, you know, with my Rillaboom. So we go with Grassy Glide, do a little bit of damage into the bundle, goes for Freeze Dry, does a lot, but we get to remove it now, and there it goes. So now, even if he went for the Milotic kill, that's okay, because I still have Ogerpon in the back, right? And you know, I would have been still okay in that sense, right? So we have a good advantage now, especially now with Milotic getting all this recovery. Here's the Landorus giving me the Intimidate, you know, boost here, right? So I protect first. I want to reposition with the Ogerpon so I can get my Redirector on the field, right? And here I do get it. Here's the, he actually went aggressive with the Milotic kick, but all, you know, expected. So here we go. Follow me, you know. He does click U-turn, but now this is just a straight Hydro Pump. We get a crit there. I don't think it mattered. That would have probably just killed him anyway. And now we can just literally, you know, go into Rillaboom here, start cycling, you know, Fake Out Coil yet again, right? There's another Drain Punch. But again, we're just withering our opponent here. You know, just again, here's the Fake Out. Here's the Hypnosis. Here's another Coil. And then, you know, we're already going to go for the Hypnosis next turn. So I'm going to get some good chip damage here with the high horsepower, right? So there's good chip, and here is the coil. Here's the Hypnosis, and that's going to be pretty much all she wrote here. You already know what happens. So we're going to click Hydro Pump, and he's going to die. All right. So now let's take a look at game 3 over here. All right. So game 3, I'm pretty much going to lead the same thing, right? So here we go, Rillaboom, and I'm going to lead Salamence yet again. I'm going to be more careful with my Salamence this time. All right, and he goes with the Flutter Mane this time, so that's okay. Yet again, I'm still going to do the same thing and Fake Out the Wheezing, but he actually switches it out into Landorus, intimidating my Rillaboom, but that's okay, right? Because I can just go Terra Steel Salamence. I know he's going to go for the Fairy move. He actually went into Rillaboom and exposed to Salamence. So I get a free snipe into the Flutter Mane, so that's good for me. All right, free KO turn 1. Here's the Wheezing yet again. All right, I'm going to go into the Ogerpon here. I'm going to protect Salamence. I don't want to get burned. I don't want to take Stomping Tantrum damage, right? And there's the Will-O-Wisp, right? So that's fine. We went into the Ogerpon. We're Fire type. He does intimidate the Ogerpon because he's switching out the Wheezing, but now his Landorus gets intimidated, right? So here's Follow Me. Doesn't do a lot of damage. And here is the Dragon Dance yet again, all right? And pretty much I can almost do the same thing, right? I was going to be a little bit more aggressive, you know, with the Salamence here, but that's still fine. All right. So here's another Follow Me. There's Stomping Tantrum. It does go down this time. All right. Do Wing Beat. It actually doesn't do a whole lot. So the bundle does get to live there. You know, that's, I guess it's still okay. Right. The Landorus isn't doing a whole lot. I have Rillaboom yet again. He goes into the Wheezing this time. All right. But that's fine. I wanted to Fake Out the Landorus slot anyway. I went for another Dragon Dance. Right. This Freeze Dry does do a lot into Rillaboom, but we do get to live. We have good bulk there. And now this Salamence is +2, and it's very scary, all right? And unfortunately, I still can't pick up the Wheezing KO, but that's still okay. That's still like good damage, right? He does get Citrus Berry. He does burn me, but on all things considered, that's still okay because a lot of these mons are already like chipped relatively well, and +2 Salamence is still gonna hurt. All right, here's the Milotic yet again. All right, he switches out into Landorus, so we call this, right? He wants to preserve this Wheezing for some reason. All right, so now Milotic looks like it's going to be the main sweeper of the team. All right, here comes the sweeper. Here comes the Weezing from the back yet again. All right, and now this looks relatively simple. I'm just going to make a little call here. Right, here's the call. I know he's going to taunt me, right? But one coil is still all I need in the grand scheme of things, right? So I'm going to sack the Salamence here. I just want to get some damage into the Weezing, right? Still click Hydro Pump, all right? I think in the grand scheme of things, I probably should have just Hydro Pump the Weezing and still like tried for the landers, but I get another coil. I get another competitive boost, right? Because, you know, we killed the Weezing. All right, and here's Hydro Pump, and now we just clean up. So Milotic actually became the sweeper here in both of these games, right? Because he just, you can't bring two Intimidators, right? I mean, he didn't bring both, but he did bring one every single time. And Milotic was just able to really set up here along with Salamence, right? And you have the support that you need on this team to be able to set up both, in my opinion. All right, so that was a good test best of 3. So again, we got two Salamence teams. We got this one with King Gambit and Floodamine, Chiyu, Ogerpon, Iron Hands, the Wellspring one. This one, we have the Screens variant with Dragon Dance as opposed to Tailwind. And here is the Devil set with Milotic here with Coil, Hypnosis, and Hydro Pumps here. So let me know which one you try and let me know what you think of both of these squads all together. And again, let me know what you think of Salamence in Regulation E. If you need coaching, we have it available on the channel. Like we said, we've been able to give successful teams to a lot of different people. They have been getting CP at these regionals and CP at these, you know, premier challenges and mid-season challenges. So if you need a squad, if you need a little bit of help building a team, sign up for coaching on the channel. Team building session is a tier 3 sub. So look in the video description below or check the comment section for the same link. Then join the channel, and then from there, you can join the Discord, you can message me, and then we can coordinate a session where we can build you a team that you need for whatever it is you need, whether it's for rank ladder, a tournament, some online tournament, all right, or if you're just trying to learn how to play competitive Pokemon altogether. Sign up and we can help you out. But again, you know, let me know what you think of what we have here. All right, we'll be back with another video in the next one, guys. Peace out and have a good one.